We're heading to Manly today. It's an area north of Sydney. We're going to be meeting with Simon Jarvis. He's the head of a men's mentoring organization. I'm going to be asking him about role models and what it takes for men to be able to ask for help and why he thinks that's important today, especially in the role of fatherhood.
My name's Simon Jarvis and I'm the CEO of Mentoring Men.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. What is Mentoring Men?
Mentoring Men is a free life mentoring program for any man in Australia who's going through issues, challenges, changes, and just needs someone to talk to. Basically, we have lots of different guys that come here from lots of different backgrounds. We are a charity for every man in Australia. Generally, we find the men that come are people who need someone to talk to or validate their concerns, issues, concerns, before they get to the point of having real challenges and needing medical support or clinical support. They might use us as a way of a sounding board to get support they need.
What are some of the reasons why someone might come here?
Yeah, so some of the main reasons why people come here are not always the things that you think are the most challenging in life. It can be things like having a newborn baby, buying a house, getting promoted at work, to things like maybe more challenging, getting a divorce, a death in the family, feeling isolated due to COVID or any other incident that might have happened. So we have a real broad spectrum, but I would say it's more around the side of just needing someone to talk to that they might not have in their life previously.
So who comes here to mentor and who comes here to just be a mentee?
Do you know what? It's really secular. So what we mean by that is sometimes people come and they think they need a mentee, and then all of a sudden they feeling good about their life and they can be a mentor. And then on the flip side, we get a lot of guys who come and come to us and say, I want to mentor someone. They go through our training, they go through our initial interview, and then they go, actually, I think I could do with someone to talk to. So it really is your time of life that changes, that really affects whether you need to be a mentor or a mentee.
Yeah, it seems like it's really difficult for men in general, including myself, to even ask for help. I mean, so where do you start with that?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think a lot of the time people look for our help or look for our support, and because they have no one else to talk to. And I think that something that men, and I won't say just Australian men, I think men in general, wherever you are, they're not very good at asking for help, and they're not very good at saying I need someone to talk to, or I need someone to get me through this. And so you look for ways that maybe are a little bit more quieter, like going to groups where if you're not used to sharing that stuff, it's not always great, which is why I think they come to us, which is why I think that we're such a unique service, because we provide that one-on-one service and with a volunteer mentor who has probably been through what you've been through, and without having to worry about it, getting out there in public. And we have people who are very open and want to talk about what they're going through, and we have other people who want to keep very quiet and just kind of want to get through it.
I think even myself, I'm hearing this, I'm like, it sounds great. I don't know if I would even ask still for it. I mean, what do you tell the guy? It's like, how do you get them through that door?
The two main reasons that people come are, the first one is self-referral. So they recognize that they need someone to help them, they need someone to talk to. They probably Googled, where can I talk to someone, and they found us. That's kind of what happens. Or the other one, which is why the women in everyone's lives are so important as well, is that we get people referred to us from their wives, mothers, daughters, sisters, saying like, you need to go and speak to someone.
I'm trying to figure out what it means to be dad and and just worker and husband and friend, and it feels like it was a lot clearer to previous generations, and I'm struggling with that too.
Yeah, look, I think the definition of being a father has changed, and I think that the modern father now is I don't even like using the word father because I think that it still has a connotation of kind of like, well, you're a father, but you're it's almost like the old school style of thinking, whereas like being a dad or being a parent is different. I think dad has a softer approach, like when you hear someone say father and then you hear someone say dad or daddy, there's a big difference, right? And I for me, I think being a dad is so much closer to co-parenting and, you know, being able to wrap your arms around your kids. And you know, I think if there was more things out there that can show you, you know, that's what a dad is giving a cuddle, giving a hug. When someone's crying, you can pick them up and tell them it's all right, and, you know, not be scared to even show your own concern. And because, you know, again, so many people don't want to show their emotion and they think it's a sign of weakness.
What are dads asking themselves if they're really determined they don't want to be repeating the history of their dads, and they want to be doing something different?
I think, me personally, and I can only speak for myself because I think everyone is very different, but one of the things that I think about is what can I do that's going to make both my life, my wife's life, and my kids' life better? As in, what can I do at this moment in time? I'm not talking about, you know, in 3 months' time or 12 months' time. I'm like, what can I do right now? You know, everyone has days where they're not going to be great. Everyone has days where they're going to feel so much better, and everyone's going to have days where you feel better than your partner. So at that point in time, what can you do to support them through that? Whether it's just taking your kids out for you know, to go to the park, or going for a drive, or, you know, just making lunch, or you're the one that, you know, when the kids are feeling sick, so someone else can get some sleep, you sleep with that kid. You know, like it's those little things I think that make a huge difference. There's no point looking at life and kind of going, I'm planning for the next 5 years, because things don't happen. Like, things happen. So for me, it's not always about what can I do in terms of, like, am I going to put my kids through private school? Am I going to, you know, make sure they've got enough for university? Am I going to, you know, have all these things ready, you know, when they're 18? It's right now. What can you do right now?
Who comes to mind when you think of a dad? Historically, it meant providing financially, putting food on the kitchen table. Growing up, my dad was missing the real family time, and now that I'm a father, old rules feel incomplete. Between important discussions about toxic masculinity and gender roles, defining good fatherhood has never been more complex. I'm Joe Gidjunis, and I'm trying to figure this out. Join me as I travel across the United States and the rest of the world to discover how good dads are making big changes.